Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Joys of the Junk Era, the show about baseball cards of a certain age and the collectors who love them. I am one of those collectors. And today we're going to be talking about the thrill of the chase. I did a video a couple episodes ago about an interesting baseball card box I found from a guy who had a storage locker he was cleaning out. I have 3 cards in front of you, and I bet you can't guess what they have in common. It is a photo of a kid on a Little League trading card picture. His name is Brian Keys. I don't know Brian Keys. I'll explain in a moment. There is this Fleer 91 picture of Kevin Romine staring into his own baseball helmet. Okay, and this is the beautiful Upper Deck 1990 Carlton Fisk that I devoted a prior episode to. What do these 3 cards have in common? What they have in common is they all came out of one of these, the ubiquitous Fairfield box from your local drugstore, selling for $4.99 commonly. Sometimes $5.49. And each of these 3 cards I pulled from one of these Fairfield boxes. I'm going to open it in a second, but I wanted to talk about what value these boxes have in the baseball card universe, right? So they're super cheap, 100 cards plus an unopened pack for $5. We basically all know that we're not going to find anything of monetary value in these. Maybe you get lucky and find a really good hit. There's a Jabs family video where he buys all of the Fairfield boxes in like a 50-mile radius of where he lives, and he pulls out of one of them a Bryce Harper rookie, I think. So there is some opportunity. I've seen on, YouTube is filled with videos of people unboxing these. Most of the time nothing turns up. Sometimes there's an auto. It says 1 in 4 contains a hit. I've opened many more than 4. I haven't gotten anything to write home about, at least from the perspective of, book value. But I always find something super interesting. I have no freaking idea why the Fairfield company is in possession of this kid's card. Frankly, I'd be interested to try and get it back to him. If anybody knows this guy, it looks like he's like a New Yorker because he is into Don Mattingly, and he likes the Yankees. He's now like 40 years old. If I can get in touch with him, I'd love to give him his card. But for present purposes, the point is that somehow Fairfield Company came into possession of it, and then they just throw in a bunch of random stuff. So Fleer 91, I'm going to do another video about. I do not have the same view about Fleer 91 as seemingly the entire rest of the world does, but it is a very common card, and there is no sort of financial value attached to it. And then the Fisk, you can just see my other video. But I do like to open them because it's always an adventure, and it's hard to get this kind of fun from. Let me just adjust my video. Sorry, for so easily just by going to the pharmacy, and for so little value, so little money. You can just. It just rings up at checkout for $5, and it is a really good time, in my view. I picked this one because it has Yachty on the front, and I love the Cardinals, and Yachty's my favorite baseball player, so he can get a spot up on the board right away. And then we have Dave Winfield next, right off the bat. This is an 80-something Fleer. Looks like an 87 Fleer, and wow, this is actually so far starting out pretty good just in terms of quality of player. Some good, here's a Topps George Brett. Here's another George Brett. So far, this is a great 87 Donruss George Brett. Is this a rookie? Is that even... No, this is a career performance. He must have been playing for several years at this point. Okay. So you got your 87 Donruss. All right, so then we start in with the score and Donruss that I can see already popping out. Oh, we got a Dave Parker. Okay. Some guy I never heard of. A Cardinal. Omar Moreno. Pete Incaviglia. I'll stop when I see something. I'm going to flip through these fairly quickly because I don't want to spend a ton of time. Bernard Gilty played for the Cards for a number of years there on the Mets. Brady Anderson. But now and then you find just an interesting card, and it's fun because you kind of get a very quick overview of a number of sort of different times in the baseball card market. You know, a lot of like junk wax era stuff. Here's another Bernard Gilty. That's a Cardinals card. Terry Steinbach. I'm going to do a show at some point about these Upper Deck. I think this is when Upper Deck kind of jumped the shark, which I think is 93 or 94. Oh, this is 92, right. So I don't like when they start putting things in cursive. I think that's just really a bad idea because a lot of kids can't read cursive. Here you have this weird Pacific collection card that's actually quite nice. I love borderless cards. I love cards with really nice photography, as this one does. Pacific generally tends to offer that, except they got really out of control with the sort of shiny refractory backgrounds at some point. So I don't know who this guy is, but this is a really cool card, and I like that the his name and player position and logo don't overwhelm the picture of the player. So this is actually a really nice card. Whoever that guy is. All right, BJ Surhoff, Lee Lacy, older card. All right, some just nothing sort of particular interest in that little bunch. But I do see an 89 Upper Deck coming up. And I always love the 89 Upper Deck with this this emulation of the first baseline. If I'm not mistaken, the first baseline is suggested on the 89 cards, and then on 90 Upper Deck you see the first to second baseline, and then on the 91 Upper Deck you see the third baseline, which is pretty cool. And this was, in my view, like one of the pinnacles of, no pun intended, of baseball card design. I was hoping that would be the Griffey rookie, but it's this other guy. Seung-Hwan Oh rookie. So these are the, I don't remember, 20-something, 2014, 2016 tops. Okay, 2017. You'll, as you can tell, I'm not so hot on my years right now. But it's fun because now I have this, I collect Cardinals cards, and now I have this string of Cardinals cards. I assume this is not a totally random incident, but that they were just pulling and repackaging various packs, and one of those happened to be from a Cardinals team set. That's why you get so many similar cards, all of the Cardinals in a row. But that's the sort of fun mystery that you get in these. Fleer Ultra 91. I'm always fascinated between what happened with Fleer Ultra in 1991 until Fleer Ultra 1992, when the whole card basically just changed. Here's a really nice Leaf card. This is another, the Leaf cards at this time, I think are really nice. They're just super duper simple. And I think that's exemplified there. The Stadium Club had a run. These cards I think are also really beautiful. I got a Tom Glavine Bowman Heritage card that is just like marvelous, and it looks like this. It's the same kind of thing. It's this super like grayscale, like kind of muted, intense portraiture. I don't know who this guy is. Chad Durbin. So who knows? Some guy. He's a pitcher for the Royals. So this is like in the 2000s. It looks like 2001 tops. Oh, it tops that owns Bowman, I suppose. But I think these cards are really stunning. It's like if you took a really old vintage card, uh, didn't change anything about the design. Uh, I mean, when I say like vintage, I mean like from the like first half of the 20th century. Didn't change anything about the design, but just used modern technology to better portray the player. Like this is the kind of thing you'd end up with. Couldn't be sort of more elegant and more simple. I really like that. You know, in fact, I'm just going to take some of these player cards down that are like nice, but I don't know, the Dave Winfield is kind of cool. All right, so let's see. This guy, and then we're back to these rather, in my opinion, just like kind of silly looking recent Topps cards. I just can't stand that they have the license to use the logo, and then they just cover up the logo for no apparent reason with these arbitrary designs. It's just a waste. Here's Chris Davis. Okay. All right. Frankly, I'm just gonna Cervelli. There's a Cardinal. These are all like recent Topps commons. Curtis Granderson. Starlin the Marlin here on the Cubs. All right, so we'll check out our Donruss. Oh, who knows? What is this? 89-90 Donruss, something like that. We'll look in a second. Chris Davis, Jacoby Ellsbury, another Jacoby Ellsbury of the same card. This is like a real action shot here. Check out that catcher's helmet flying through the air. It's pretty badass. Kind of looks like he's out, but it's still really, you know, when they can do something better than just capture like the player in the batter's box, the pitcher on the mound. I mean, like this is a crazy good photo. Sorry, my camera work is all over the place today. Here's David Price, back on the Rays. That's a nice card. Okay. I'm just gonna sort of stop when I see something interesting. Jeff Conine, rookie. Here's one of these Kevin Mitchell. I like Kevin Mitchell. I don't know why. Oh, two Mackie Sassers. You can't go wrong when you get two Mackie Sassers in one box. Oh, this is really awesome. This Topps Darryl Strawberry, the 1980 #1 draft pick. Well, we know that, but when was the card from? Seems like. So this is an 85 card talking about how Darryl Strawberry was the first pick in the 1980 draft. These are also cool, not because it's like his, you know, prospect card or rookie card or something like that. It's just because you can just, it gives you information. It's like a little miniature Wikipedia about Darryl Strawberry, and you know, it's just the section about his rise to the big leagues. So that's really nice too. All right, so this is the Leaf card I was referring to before that I couldn't remember. Let me just see what year this is. I think this is a really great 1990 Leaf. I think these are really nice cards too. Kind of for the same reason I like the other one. They're super simple, and they have pretty nice photography. All right, Tommy Green, rookie. Eric Davis, All-Star card. Billy Pierce. I actually like the 92 Donruss. Andres Galarraga, Topps, some kind of shiny imprint on that. This is a really, I like the sort of throwbacky cards. What year was this printed? It was printed in 2001, and it is of the, I guess, I don't know, 86 Topps or whatever year that is, sometime mid-80s. But the advantage of this is you get it on the nicer stock. So it's kind of like when they take one of those old movies and film it like the Criterion Collection, like they digitally touch up the film. I equate this to that. Here, let's replace Dave Winfield. Andres Galarraga was had a successful career too. So, okay, Doug Sisk. There's a Reggie Jackson Angels card. Look at this. Look at that. Those stat lines, that fills up the whole card. All right, so now we're back to not all that Tyler Austin rookie. Somewhat cheap looking Topps cards. Joe Kelly. Goldschmidt. Jay Bruce and Freddie Freeman. That's a nice card. R.A. Dickey, the knuckleballer. All right, so let's see what we got in our pack. I can never remember unless it really explicitly says what the... this is the 90 Donruss. I can never remember from the packs what year it is. I'm not that proficient. I mean, it's so bad, though. I think this is the year where there's just like... Yeah, so 90 Donruss. But you get a Craig Biggio. This is like it's a pretty offensive looking card. If you do a red border, then every photograph you have in the whole series has to really stand out. It has to be, the colors really have to pop, or else it gets sort of washed out and drowned away by the really bright red borders. And I don't even know how to explain this, this splatter, paint splatter looking effect along the side. I mean, I know you know what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to zoom in so we can discuss it for a second. All right, well, you know what I'm talking about. I can't get my camera to zoom. Like, this card works because Terry Pendleton's hat and the birds on the bat are are able to rival the intensity of the color of the border. But let's get an example with, like, no red here. Jeff Russell just he's supposed to be sort of lunging forward with his pitch, but it looks like he's like receding into the background. The players look like they're sort of behind the border of the card, which is not what you want. Greg Vaughn, rookie, that's kind of neat. Dave Parker, Danny Tartabull, Mike Scotia, Dave Righetti, this guy, Lou Whitaker, Greg Brock, and this guy. All right, so this has been like 17 minutes. 17 minutes of like pure baseball card discovery joy, in my view. I know many of you wouldn't take money to open one of these packs, but I just love it. I go in with the expectation of both not finding anything that I'll want to put in a top loader, but with the expectation of in every pack finding something that I'm not used to seeing. And that's what we found here. I think we got some like really interesting looking cards. Like these Pacific cards like aren't that common and they're really nice. The Yachty, I knew I was getting that as like a freebie. This beautiful Bowman Heritage card. These interesting updates of like 80s tops that you get the same exact card with just this like sheen retouching. Always the opportunity for some interesting sports photography and a little bit of info about a significant player. So that's a pack of baseball cards. It's one of the great joys of exploring the junk era in the present day, and you can't beat the price, and you can't beat how easy it is to find one of these packs. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks so much for tuning in.